everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sit and Spin with me, your host, Joe Royland. Today on the show, if you're familiar with that at all, you may have an inkling of who we're about to be talking about. And that would be the band Kansas and the 40th anniversary documentary they have out now called Miracles Out of Nowhere. This is a documentary that's recently been airing on the Palladium Music Network, but if you haven't had a chance to catch it on that or don't have Palladium, now you finally have a chance to see Miracles Out of Nowhere yourself. It comes as a nice set. It comes as either a DVD CD set or a Blu-ray CD set. The documentary, of course, chronicles the band's beginnings all the way up through their fifth album, Point of No Return, which was their major breakthrough album and featured the title track, and the single Dust in the Wind, which just totally broke the band to a new level. Features interviews with all the original band members, plus musician fans like people like Queen's Brian May, Garth Brooks, noted producer Brendan O'Brien, who's worked with people like Bruce Springsteen, Pearl Jam, and a host of other bands, as well as never-before-seen live footage and archival photos and just great stories behind all the songs and the makings of the records leading up to that point. The bonus CD that accompanies this features the band's greatest hits and deep cuts from the same time period, as well as commentary culled from the documentary and some of those behind-the-scenes stories of the making of each song, which are really great. There's this cool story behind Carry On My Wayward Son, as well as a great story behind Point of No Return, but I'm not going to tell you what they are because you need to experience that for yourself. Kansas themselves, American progressive rock band, who I never really realized were so proggy. I mean, I was a cursory fan of Kansas. I was familiar with all the hits and stuff, but never really delved that deeply onto their albums. That was more my brother Pete's thing. My brother Pete liked bands like Kansas and Styx and Boston and stuff like that, and I like that stuff too, but just not as much as him. I was more familiar with the English prog bands like Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer. That was more my wheelhouse. But watching this documentary totally given me a newfound appreciation for the band Kansas and their music, and really been enjoying the CD that's come along with us, and it made me want to investigate their albums as a whole further. And just great stuff. Overall, excellent documentary. If you're not really even a fan of Kansas, never been a fan of Kansas more, you may become a fan of the band after watching this flick. Just really great stuff. Nice package, fold out with the CD on one side, the Blu-ray on the other side, and a nice little booklet. It features more archival photos and nice essays that accompany the documentary and all that stuff. It's just pretty great. And if I had one minor complaint about this documentary at all, and it's just a minor quibble, is that it would have been cooler if, just a little cooler, if it had covered the band's entire career. Because there's a lot of great story that follows this up, because Kansas is still going strong to this day. They may have had most of the success in the early 70s and then again sort of in the late 80s, but Kansas is still very much an ongoing concern. And it would have been nice to see some of that story there, like what happened when Steve Walsh left the band and they got John Elfontaine to sing for a few albums, and then Walsh coming back and Steve Morse joining the band. It would have been cool to get the story behind that too, but hey, maybe that's another documentary for another time. In the meantime, definitely go and check out Kansas, Miracles Out of Nowhere. It's out now in stores, and that is the show for this week. Sorry I seem to be stuck in movie mode lately, but there really hasn't been any new records that have kind of tickled my fancy, so to speak, but who knows, maybe next week there will be one. In the meantime, hopefully checking out my friend Scott over at Righteous Vinyl, as well as the Rip of the Day guys, and thanks for tuning in here. Please feel free to share the show and like it on the Facebook page and all that stuff, and tune in next time to see what we'll have for you then on Sit and Spin. See ya.